Hi, Cynthia.
Hey Jen, how's it going?
It's going great. Today's my birthday that we're recording, so it's a good day.
I love it. So cool. Yeah, happy birthday. I wish I had a candle with me.
Thanks.
I was like
Oh,
looking because like with a 3-year-old, you always have random stuff with you everywhere. And I'm like, I'm sure I have a
random.
candle somewhere, but anyway, I'll sing happy birthday later. So we have our news today, our fun marketing news, which we are trying to just bring different relevant pieces that we feel are relevant. And I'm going to be talking about a few different things. So I wanted to bring this term of vibe marketing because it's something that I was just reading about and I was kind of fascinated by. And I actually read it in a newsletter. His name is Chris Penn. I don't actually know exactly what he's probably more of like an SEO, but I wanted to talk about what this is in case you've heard of it and how it's connected with this evolution of AI that we've been having. And we've been talking a lot about AI, right? Like it just has really changed the way that we've done everything in our business. I don't know about you, but Jen, like I feel like
Everything.
it's just changing everything. And it's kind of
In a
like
good way.
scary. Yeah.
In a good way, as long as it's controlled and we're doing all the things that we need to do to make sure it's our
Yes.
voice. But it really has seeped into every part of my professional and personal life. So it's kind of
Yeah.
wild.
So so there's this term like vibe marketing, which sounds kind of funny, but vibe marketing is basically using AI tools to create your marketing, but through like a conversation. And this can also work with coding. So there's like vibe coding. And I was actually doing this over the weekend. There's now tools that will allow you to create code just like we use ChatGPT to generate, SEO titles or content or whatever. You can use specific AI tools that will generate code and they understand how to like code in any language. So I was using a tool. I've been looking at two tools. There's one that I've been using called Windsurf, just putting it out there for those of you who
Yes, of
wouldn't.
course.
And then there's another one that I also have been looking at, which is called Lovable. Anyway, so I spent the weekend and I was literally like typing in, create a website that has this logo and these colors, and it will start to code for you and you'll be able to start to visualize that. And then it's just baffling, like something as a coder that would maybe take you 3 hours, you're doing in 30 minutes, right? So it still makes mistakes and it breaks things, and it's still like you have to tell it how to code like any language. There's rules and there's structures, and so you need to try to guide it. And if you don't know how to code, you can probably actually get like pretty far. So remember, when I'm talking about code, I'm not just talking about websites, I'm talking about apps, I'm talking about like video game software, anything that is like built in the back end, which maybe for some of you listening, it's like hard to visualize, but it's just so crazy how this has changed everything. So with vibe marketing, it's the same idea, but with marketing. So you give it access to all your marketing files and you basically ask it like through a conversation, what do you think about this strategy? Can you give me some strategies for this audience? And it's all through conversation. So I think the reason why it's called vibe is that it's like really laid back.
Well, you're talking to a friend. Like
Right.
it can feel like that, right?
Right. Yeah. And it's like, of course you're there and you direct and you do all that stuff, but you want to actually not, I don't know, you're not, I guess you're maybe opening up to like different opportunities, right? And and now that AI can also search the web, and it's like we're starting to get to this place too where like AI agents are going to start to like click just like we do on different websites and different things. We're not quite there yet. Like we're seeing that, but it's like it's not quite there. I just want to share another example of how I was doing this. I recently launched an AIO, so AI optimization bundle for those of you who are curious. And I was sitting in traffic, and so I opened up ChatGPT. Now has the voice option where you can talk. It
Love.
definitely makes mistakes sometimes, but I was in traffic for 40 minutes, and in the 40 minutes I literally created all my content for that launch just by talking to it and saying, hey, like, I'm creating this. What do you think? Let's like define the price. And we like went back and forth on pricing. And then we went back and forth on like what the email should say and like what are people, needing. And I was like, wow, that was so interesting. Like 40 minutes, maybe I would have listened to the radio or something, or I don't know, just thought about my life. But instead I spent this time talking to an AI, basically working, right? And it was pretty good. Like it's
And easy working.
yeah.
You're just talking, you're just revising, you're just pivoting, like all this conversation, and you arrive home and you have it all planned. Like that's insanely cool.
Yeah. So I just want to again put it out there for those of you who are like trying to understand how this is impacting your business, or like what part of this you want to take and lead. And my suggestion is just with like this idea of vibe marketing or vibe coding can be a great way to just get started and play and have fun and build something that maybe you wouldn't have built before. And it's not just for your business. Like obviously, like we're talking about marketing for small businesses, but I can also hear a lot of people talk to AI about just like bigger problems we see in the world and how we can solve them, like personal things. I've been using it, like Jen knows, like I had an uncomfortable conversation. I had to call someone and it helped me like practice, right? And do what's it called? I can't remember the word now.
That's in sales, role playing.
Role play, yeah.
Role
And
playing.
it's like I feel like it is this tool that's helping us solve a lot of problems and help us see things differently. And yeah, it's helpful.
We'll put any links below about your upcoming bundle situation. I'm interested, and I know a lot of people may be interested as well. To be able to show up in AI can be amazing for your business. So
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And then I also had also some AI news from Amazon. So Amazon now has a new beta feature called Buy For Me, and it helps customers find and buy products from other sites, which is kind of interesting. So I'm just reading off of Amazon.com. It says how Buy For Me works. Buy For Me is integrated into Amazon shopping experience so customers can quickly and easily discover additional selection. When customers search for branded items in the search bar in the Amazon shopping app, they'll see relevant results from Amazon and third-party sellers in our store, and in some cases, additional relevant products from other stores in a separate section of search results labeled Shop Brand Sites Directly. I mean, this is a really long article, but I am like, blown away because, again, kind of going back to actually what I was just saying, is that with AI, we're suddenly taken to this whole new level of like, what's the value we're providing our clients, right? So if I can code a site in 30 minutes, or I've been creating, actually all the images that I created for the AI bundle are with ChatGPT. I had to use Canva a little bit for some of the formatting. So it's like getting like next level. And so I'm thinking, okay, like if I were a designer, how would I evolve my services to take into consideration? Because ChatGPT does have design skills, but it's not as good as maybe a certain designer. Same with like a web developer, right? So this to me with this Amazon news is Amazon is thinking ahead and thinking, how can I have people still hang around on Amazon, but find it just this useful tool, right? Because if they're able to bring in other options that people can contrast and like basically buy the cheapest one or whatever, like the best one that they see, that still promotes Amazon as a brand, even though technically they're not buying it like from Amazon. I'm curious to
it's basically a shopping hub, is what it sounds like. Amazon, very smart.
Yes, very smart.
Amazon off. My Amazon just went
off. He wants to be in all the conversation.
Awesome. Speaking of, no, I think that's like being a sales hub, because a large portion of the population goes to Amazon when they want to shop for something, or they're trying to find a gift to send to somebody. And it is to have that be a shopping hub for everything, be able to see what's on Amazon and everything else. It actually doesn't dilute Amazon. It makes Amazon more prime in going to that site. Like,
it's more helpful. It's more valuable. Yeah, and that's what
And let's talk about it. On Google or any search platform, it's important that you are having helpful content. So
yeah.
they're literally doing that heavy lift of having helpful content that potentially could lead people other places, but people are going to do their research anyway. They don't have to do their research on all the internet now. They can
Right.
go straight to Amazon and search for what they want, and everything will come up, whether it's on Amazon or not.
Yeah.
Not everything, I'm sure, but still, that's impressive
Yeah,
and really forward thinking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I think we all need, like, that's how I'm trying to think. I mean, I'm trying to look at just how I don't care about SEO. I mean, it sounds kind of weird for me to say that, but like at the end of the day, I want to help my businesses get found online. And that
Yes.
will be in a Google platform that has SEO elements, but it's going to evolve. I know that it is, right? And all my knowledge up until now will continue to support, the changes that come. But there's people who might be feeling a little bit of fear of like, what is my job going to look like as an online marketer? And that's very valid. And I also invite you to think about how can you help your clients now and bring value with these tools, because these tools are not stopping. Like the amount of money that these large companies are spending on cloud infrastructure, like to hold all this technology.
Server storage, yes,
Yes,
all the things.
all the things. So it's not slowing down. It's not gonna go in a different direction. We're just going full steam ahead. So the sooner you can transform, your services and also again shine on the things that you do best. Like I also know my clients hire me because of how we work with our clients and our like relationships with them and how they feel when we get on a call with
Yes.
them, right? AI can't
Yes. They
replace
feel
that yet.
taken care of. They
Exactly.
feel taken care of.
Yeah. So
Yes.
the whole strategy, you need to think about these things. And now is a great time to do that because you can start to slowly pivot if needed and just look at, right? How do you want to be positioning yourself in all of this? So anyway, it's
I,
interesting.
yeah, and I will also add that I do brand photography and brand videography in my agency. And
Yeah,
so there's a big fear out there for photographers. Like
absolutely.
Midjourney, for instance, does great people images,
Yeah,
like insanely good stuff.
yeah,
But I still have people at the end of the day who want to come to me to get a custom gallery and their detail shots and things that are about them and their business. And you can spend time doing that on, Midjourney or ChatGPT or wherever, but it's still at the end of the day AI and not a real image. And eventually, marketing will at some point start to catch up with that. To what extent, I don't know. But already, Pinterest is starting to recognize when photos are AI,
right.
and at some point they could be downranked in the algorithm. I don't know this. Pinterest has not told me this. So just full disclosure, this is
Hmm,
kind of what Pinterest managers are thinking about.
right. No,
So
it's
it's
great.
not to say not to use those images, right? But people at the end of the day are still going to come to get a full gallery of images when they're building their website and not have to try to go on and get every image to match
Yeah.
on a Midjourney or a ChatGPT for a website build. So
It's so interesting, right? And maybe this is like a whole other episode, but like basically how to evolve your business, right? At this point, because it's going to keep changing. But I agree. I feel like people are still going to want the old fashioned, if you want to say it, the old fashioned way. I'm not a coder, but I do know about code. And what I've talked with other coders and like software, engineers and things is like the AI at this stage, like April 2025, when we're like recording this, it's good. Like it will do quite a bit, but it gets confused when it's like a lot of code. A lot of code, it will break
yes.
things. It will, it can't get that. Now, it will get there because these things just keep evolving and, we're basically training it. And so I guess, again, the point is, I think over time, what's going to happen is like a lot of things will have to shift how we price things because basically we're going to get a lot faster. Like I said, my other
Yeah.
example, like I'm not a web developer, but I created a site in 30 minutes that I'm actually considering now doing it with a VA because I could easily have my VA copy a design that looks good to me. Like I'm not a designer either, but I think it looks fantastic what I created. And like, she's just literally building it in Squarespace. And so it got me thinking, well,
Yes.
like, what would the differentiator be for a designer? I guess the designer would go in and like just tweak the elements, but that is like crunched down, like something that, again, would have taken a certain amount of time is like taking a lot less time. So we're going to need to adapt some of our prices. We're going to need to think about the value of what we do. We're going to need to think about, as a photographer, you know, you could talk about this. What's the experience of going and getting your photograph taken? Because I love that experience. I love getting, you know, ready to get my, it's like part of my methodology of like up leveling, you know, when I get my photograph
Yeah.
taken. So that is still a valid service, but maybe on the side you do also do like AI, some sort of AI
For
photography.
blog
Yeah.
photos or
Yeah.
something like that. I totally agree. You could create a whole package of you know, Instagram photo covers for your reels, or you could do like a bunch of things like that. So,
Totally.
but at the end of the day, at least right now, April 9th, 2025, since, you know, podcasts are around for a long time, at least right now, people can, not all the time, but generally, when it's a person, they can tell if it's AI or not, or it doesn't feel the right. Like whenever I go and put my photo in, it does not do a great job.
Yeah.
Like of me, I look off.
Yeah.
And another thing people don't understand is when you do blogs, part of SEO is that image. The image needs to also tell the story of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
It's really important also on Pinterest. So using something like a Midjourney or ChatGPT to create those blogs that really get to the crux of what you're doing instead of trying to hire a photographer for every blog, that's ridiculous, right?
Right.
So that's kind of where I see it going right now, and
Yeah.
I feel like it's going to keep going that way, but
Yeah.
you just never know,
We
right?
need to keep doing predictions like in our fun marketing
Yes.
news. Like I'm definitely just obsessed a little bit with, and every time I spend even a little more time, you know, looking at, because I have to run my business too. Like I do a lot of AI stuff for my business, but like you could literally be all day like playing with stuff. But every
Yeah,
time
it could literally be a full-time job.
I
Just seeing what you can do with
yeah,
it.
do with
Every,
it.
you know,
Yeah.
you see something on Instagram and you're like, oh, I want to try that, or I want to try
Yeah.
this, and the more you try, and this is just for those who are just dipping their toe in,
Yeah.
the more you interact with it and the more you give it additional prompts and refining things
It
and
gets
refining
so
things,
good.
it gets so much more exciting, but it also gets so much smarter on you and your
It's
business.
yeah.
And marketing is so much easier. It's so much easier.
Yeah, that's actually a big tip I would say, is like having a thread where I've been working on like separating out kind of my threads and like conversations.
Into projects.
Yeah, and it's just like, whoa, like it got really good suddenly. And the model does update like using the latest version that it has. Like it's faster, it's smarter. Anyway, I think at the end of the day, our whole thing here is like we're gonna keep talking about it, because I think when you hear other people how they use it also inspires you. Like I find that too. Like when I've like heard
Yes.
some very creative ways of using it, it's like, oh, interesting. Right now with the Instagram stuff, I feel like it's just the iceberg. Like, oh, that's cute. Like the
It's
way,
cute and cheesy and whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
but that doesn't really. I don't think that's the same thing. Like it's just it. I'm finding it deeply impactful in how I'm selling. Today I had a whole conversation about it, about like this like a money mindset thing I was working through, and it was like basically coaching me through that, and it helped me, and it was like, whoa, like this is probably something I mean, I still have a coach and I'm still going to talk to her about it, but I would wait till the session. Like now I get to like go right in every day. I have this assistant, right? And it's very immediate, which
Yes.
is powerful.
And it feels more like an assistant, like a true VA.
Yeah.
Every day it just gets better and better and better. At one point it said to me, I can do that, but you mentioned before to not do that. And I was all, OMG, are you for real?
Oh my
Like
God.
I should have screenshotted it. And then sometimes I'll say, hey, I asked you for this, but you didn't give me that, right? That's kind of how it makes mistakes a lot.
Yeah.
And it'll say, oh, you are so right. Let me give you 3 options. Like, it's so
It
weird.
goes above and beyond. Like when it did the role playing thing, I didn't ask for it. It was literally like we were chatting about this uncomfortable conversation and I was doing some research with it. And of course I was cross-referencing the research, but it was basically at one point, you know, just so helpful, so kind, like so nurturing, whatever. I needed that in that
I
moment. And then it
know.
was like, you know, would you like to role play this with me? And I'm like, like,
Let's try.
yeah, like I think what it comes back with, I mean, obviously, something like ChatGPT is trained to be helpful. So, like, that's the whole point of it as a tool. Like, that's what they're building it
Yeah.
for. But if we think about it beyond that, like, again, something like literally building an image, like building a site, building a software, like that is so, so impactful. And so I invite you to use it in your next launch, to use it to write your emails. I'm not saying copying and pasting the raw email, right? I'm saying
No.
find like these shortcuts that are, because I also find
Time
that,
saving. Time saving.
yes,
Yeah.
and it also is a way to like rewire our brain. I mean, this is kind of a separate topic, but I find that I'm always making excuses not to sell stuff. Like I want to help people, right? But do you find like
Every day.
It's,
Every day.
and that's
Like
how
you just hit, I just went, ow. Like that hit hard.
that's how we make money in our business. So just think about it, Jen. If you sold 3 times more than what you do today, you would probably make more money. Like it's simple as that, right? Because
Absolutely.
so if you can use something like ChatGPT to help you sell more, to help you, you know, just send a few more helpful emails. Again, I'm not just saying sending random things. Like I'm using it as this tool of like, ask it. Like today I asked it, like, I want to triple my revenue this year. This is my goal. Give me some ideas. And it gave me like 10 different ideas and they were good. Like some of them I'd already thought of and some of them were like, yeah. But a lot of them were like, oh, I haven't thought of that. And then we went into one and like we explored it. And again, with my launch, like I was like troubleshooting something and it was giving, and all these things are like, it removes the resistance for these revenue generating tasks.
That is a mic drop statement.
Yeah.
Repeat that again, because that was so good.
It's a shortcut for revenue generating tasks. Like that's how I can like,
period.
Like you want to make more money in your business. I mean, of course there's so many other things than money, but like you want to impact and you need, you know, we're businesses, we're not on a hobby podcast, right? So ask it, like, do the Instagram thing if you want, but also ask it like, I want to make X amount of, you know, I want to do this goal. Tell me, like, let's talk about it. You're going to be blown away and that's going to motivate you and it's going to help you break through some resistance. And then when you do have resistance, like you feel a fear coming up or some limiting belief, or you just are like, I don't know if I want to do this, talk to it about it. It's insane. It's going to help you. It's going to help you.
And it does something even more important than that. I think as an entrepreneur, we feel very lonely in our business. We can talk to our spouses or partners about it, but 9 times out of 10, they don't know what we're doing or how we do it. And like my husband always says, I know you're going to do a great job. I'm like, that didn't help me, but I love you for it, but that didn't help me. Right. So that's what ChatGPT has become for me. It's like a double checking. It's a soundboard. That is kind of how I've been using ChatGPT. That has made some real growth for me as a business owner and in my business.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to do more. I think we're also figuring out like just how we want to help our people, right? Maybe we need to ask ChatGPT as well.
Let's do that. That's like hilarious. We have so many ideas.
Of
it's
course
a little
we need to ask
overwhelming.
Like, of course, Cynthia, what were you even thinking?
And we'll include the link to that article that you're talking about, the 2 articles, right? The Amazon and the Vibe marketing. And as always, please like and subscribe and, you know, give us some feedback. You can do it on Instagram. You can do it via our email. All of our contact information, it really is in the podcast and also on YouTube. And thank you for showing up. We'll see you next week.
See you soon. Bye.